This is way better than any other kind of T group I've experienced before. It has a way of hitting all the spots of your psyche, your physiological, emotional, spiritual, all those different levels get addressed in this work. Anybody who is exploring leadership for themselves would benefit from Somatic T-Group because we all have our shadows, we all have our disowned parts, and this is a very effective and useful modality to address those unexplored parts of ourselves that need to have a light shine on them. It really brings you into your body and into your feelings in a way that pulls you out of your story and in your head. When I arrived at Somatic T-Group, initially I was feeling really avoidant and isolated and, to be honest, pissed and rageful. And by the end, it transmuted into feeling very loving and soft and open and available and present, connected. I've done more workshops, training, seminars than practically anyone I know. I am a therapist. We are all our own experts. However, a lot of us never have the opportunity to learn how to speak our needs and how to set boundaries and how to have a healthy relationship to what we want and don't want. And seeing that modeled in the T-Group somatic format is invaluable. Naili brings a fresh energy that I'm not used to from other facilitators. She draws on years of different modalities and different disciplines that she's really trained herself in. She walks the talk. And what I really like is that there's a lot of hands off. It's more like trusting us to be our own guide, and she puts in what's needed while also stepping back and allowing our own agency, our own sovereignty to rise.
I was really hesitant at first. I had a hard time dropping in and feeling comfortable because so many of my patterns got triggered right away. So much was allowed to come up because the structure felt so expansive for me. It felt like so much was allowed that it helped me go into places inside myself where in other practices or processes I didn't quite feel as much permission. Naili, it's like she got out of the way in a way where the things that needed to happen happened. The triggers were able to arise more naturally and took me to my edge faster because there wasn't a coddling or a checking in on me. It's like she wasn't feeding my pattern of being overly sensitive to get attention, and so then it got to get really big before I had the breakthrough. So yeah, super grateful. This helped me actually see the pattern so that I feel like I had more choice at how I wanted to show up. It felt like a combination of like a classroom and then a super, like I did feel kind of tripped out at times, like so much was happening. So it felt like almost like in an alternate universe dimension, like the levels of awareness that were happening. I'm seeing my fights and how there's a pattern of fighting in conflict to actually reach surrender. I also saw the avoidant in me, which was a little hard to witness actually. The biggest thing was being able to face and feel some of the fear. I felt actually, I would say, more safe to manage my own energy in this container and environment that I have in other containers. And I felt like I was able to go a little deeper in the short amount of time than maybe I would even in like a 2-day workshop.
I think there's like this level of authenticity, of vulnerability, and of taking like radical responsibility all in one, while like dropping down into the sensation of your body without the story of it, which like allows you to like slice through all the bullshit that we mostly like humans do just to like squirrel out of the thing. Well, it's cool to be able to feel from my body rather than my head. It's helping me navigate how to communicate With others, dropping the story and coming from a place of owning my experience and coming into my own perspective. And it was really the second round where I felt like I woke up, I woke up to the experience. There were moments where when I received touch, that might have been too much. In the past behavior, I may have let that on a little bit longer, but here I got to practice communication to be I'm gonna contract now and sit still with why that is. It's like taking the best of all the workshops that you could take within, a month and putting them in this compressed 3-4 hour container. Make sure you're energetically resourced. Maybe give yourself maybe 2-3 hours before coming here, just so that you're grounded in your own energetic field and you can come in strong and totally present to take it on.
It was intense. It was a roller coaster of emotions and feelings. It was very exposing and required me to show up a lot and be present and own my feelings and be clear with myself and my feelings and own my interpretations of myself and of others and of the actions of others. Felt like a safe container. It was quite fun. A lot of laughing. I learned that I don't own my initial feelings. I could see how it would impact my interactions with people at work and how I interpret their motives and their actions and how I react to them. Also in my relationships, there's not really any way to prepare for what might happen. It will have a lasting impact. I would recommend self-care, making sure you're fed properly, gotten good rest. If you're tired or hungry, it'll probably bring up more intense stuff for you, I would imagine. I'm proud of myself for having the courage to come into a room and do something like this. It's always difficult every single time, and anyone who does so should feel proud of themselves.
You're really left to your own devices, and which is actually great news. There's nothing to do or fix. It's this unique combination of being childlike in playfulness while really having the support and container and the shared intention of being totally adult in my ownership of my own experience. It's both full-bodied and it's also it's really just in the moment. There was a point where I had no idea how long time had elapsed. Given that there's no structure to cling to, and there is if you really need it, but then you'll quickly realize oh, this is I'm clinging to something because here I am with a new group of people and there's anything possible. What I found was that the community that Niley has built here and invited people to show up in is really at this high level of practice. Everything that I've gotten from anywhere else is just available for me here to show up naked. One of the things I discovered is just how I use humor when I'm uncomfortable and I'm not even aware that I'm uncomfortable. I'm left with I want more.
This gives kind of this play space, this kind of container or a sandbox that you can kind of play the game of life. I was able to explore asking for what it is that I want. The other piece was basically exploring a healthy touch. The benefit is that each person gets to work on whatever it is that they want to work on. And there's no forcing, there's no coercion. You don't have to go and do anything you don't want to do. And being here in this group, you're able to actually go and exercise yourself, much like you might in a gym. It impacts my leadership because it allows me to be able to see what I want and then ask for it. So the thing that surprised me is that I had no idea what was going to happen, where the T-group, the group dynamics unfolded, how they unfolded. There was some of everything, and it was, you couldn't even planned it. No one could have planned it, even if they wanted to. And so what was really surprising is how it unfolded. And in the end, we all became closer.